What can the Pacers do better to support their top three when it comes to scoring, and how else might they be able to tweak some of their offensive struggles this season? Plus, how has TJ McConnell looked since returning? And Ben Sheppard, what is actually going on with his play this season? Will Furr and I get into all that and more on today's Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes and Circle City Spin, and today we're talking, of course, about the Pacers, but really their offense. For a while, they just played two straight games with similar formulas. Their top three looking very good, scoring a lot of points. The rest of the team, they just need a little more support or more consistent support. How can they get it? What tweaks can they make to do it? We dive into a little bit of that conversation today with Will Furr, who used to blog about the team quite a bit for the Fieldhouse in 8 points, 9 seconds. We also talk about the Pacers offense, some Ben Sheppard stats that are just kind of comical and not a good way. TJ McConnell's return so far, what he's looked like, what he could do a little better. We also name drop Chris Duarte, Edwin Sumner, Jamison Brewer, even more. Lots of guys from Gerald Green, lots of guys from Pacers yesteryear get brought up today, and actually in very relevant contexts. Great episode, very fun. Love chatting with Will. Let's just get right to it. The Pacers are 2-14. They host the best team in the East tonight, but today we're solving their big picture problems, or at least discussing them and figuring out what could look better. Their best three players keep scoring a bajillion points. They need some more support and balance, but how do they actually do it? How has TJ McConnell looked since he returned from injury? Ben Sheppard cannot make anything. How bad is that actually? And joining me to talk about all of these things is Will Furr, who just did my favorite part of doing a podcast, talking to him for 32 minutes before we actually start recording about anything except the Pacers. So I already know the answer to this, but Will, hello, how are you?
I'm excellent, Tony. It's always good to talk to you, man. How you doing?
It's a blast. I'm great. I got to see my wife's parents this weekend. I went to Holiday Mart. I went to Cleveland, Ohio to watch the Pacers play the Cavs. And that game actually is the launching point for our discussion to start today. And what I talked about after that game, which is, I don't know what the perfect way to describe this is, because it's not concerning that the way they're scoring. But 2 games in a row, the exact same thing has happened. The Pacers' first 20 points have all come from those 3 guys, Nembhard, Mathurin, and Siakam. And then Jarris Walker had a corner 3 against the Hornets to get them to 23 points. Jarris Walker made free throws in Cleveland to get him to 22. But the same 3 guys scored their first 20 points twice in a row. That's not a bad thing. Those guys are playing very well. They had 79 total in Cleveland. But a big topic after the game, and something I talked about a little bit, and a big source of all the questions post-game was like, what is the way to keep that going, but also have the rest of the team be more supportive like they were in Charlotte, where Jay Huff had 20 points and TJ McConnell didn't miss? Is there, to you, a change that needs to be made to make that support more possible? Is this just as simple as like, yo, the other 8 guys who are playing, like, play better? We've seen a lot of those guys be better than they have been recently. What do you feel like is the way they go about making this a more successful kind of situation?
I think the only way it happens is going to be an internal change. I think this is an opportunity for Nembhard to take a huge step. If this was a Haliburton-led offense, and it was the big 3 scoring 79 points, then if that was an issue, Haliburton's going to be finding a way to get other guys the ball, to get other guys going, and Nembhard doesn't have that yet. But a full year playing the point guard, which is his position. I know everybody talks about him as a 2 guard. That's what he plays with Ty, but man's a point guard. A full year doing the thing he's done his whole life, and I think there's an opportunity for growth there, and I think that's what is missing right now. TJ is just coming back, and I don't think Nembhard has that in his bag of tricks just yet.
They are often, like, I know their ball movement numbers look about the same, and their assist numbers aren't like crazy, but it definitely feels different, right? And that does matter to some extent, like what actually is the gap, because like Nembhard just had 8 assists against the Cavs. Like, that's great. That's a healthy number. That's what he should be striving for all the time. But of course, as we're talking about 3 players, the first assist was to Siakam, the second and third were to Mathurin, the fourth one was to Siakam, right? Like, a lot of that is the intersection of a lot of the guys that we're actually talking about. And again, this sounds like we're talking bad about the three, and I don't want to do that at all. Like they're doing what they need to do to help the Pacers win. By Basketball Reference's game score metric, the game Nembhard just played was the best game he has ever played in the NBA, right? Like I don't want it to feel like it's picking on those three guys, but there does need to be a way to make them be that good and the team wins, because that's 79 points from three guys should be like you're at least you lose by 2 or 3 now, like you're getting completely blasted.
You're in the game at least.
Yeah, you have a chance, or you have a chance in the fourth, whatever it may be. And they didn't. They got completely run off the floor in the third quarter, and they did beat Charlotte. Charlotte kind of stinks, but like they beat them. And it's fun. I just said something. I hate that I just said that, because people after the Hornets game were like, "Oh, no one should be talking good about this win. It's just the Hornets." I'm like, the Pacers have the worst record. Like, there's no just anybody right now. But the Hornets are not very good.
Just the Pelicans.
Yeah, no. It literally now it's the only team they can say that about. It's their Friday opponent, the Wizards. It's just the Wizards. Everybody else is like, "Oh, that team had a better win percentage." So after the game, we talked to Carlisle about this. We talked to TJ McConnell. I thought was the most insightful, though. He mentioned, like, does it help at all if, specifically with Nembhard after he had 32 and 8, and he's minutes matching Donovan Mitchell? Does it help the Pacers at all if McConnell brings it up the floor more often, or Siakam brings it up the floor more often, or Mathurin, or anyone? Ben Sheppard's been initiating, not like with a ton of success, but a little bit. And does it help if they can find a better defensive matchup for Nembhard? Like the Cavs game would have been even if he took 0 shots, Aaron Nesmith would have been hugely helpful in that game.
The wing, like somebody who can guard somebody.
Yes. Are there other ways for them to, even without necessarily like taking away reps from those guys, just like 10 possessions, 15 possessions in the game, making their job easier or less demanding, would make it so they're not as reliant on them, I think. And I thought that was a good way of putting it, because even 10 or 15 possessions it sounds like a lot, but it's not. It's like 10% of the game, but that would go a long way for them right now, where they're just, there's possessions where it's like, I'm writing in my notes, like, man, it feels like they're too reliant on these three guys. And then the possession after I type that, it's like contested Jarris Walker corner 3, or like a hook shot from a big man from 8 feet away. I'm like, that's not a good shot. Like maybe they should be reliant on it. I don't know how to figure this out.
Yeah, it's, you look at the last couple of games, they scored the first 20 points. If it's Bradley or Jackson in there, neither of them is demanding any offensive attention unless it's a putback. Huff's a little different, but Rick's just kind of been flipping a 3-sided coin, I think. And then you got Jarris Walker, who is having the worst high volume shooting season in the history of the sport. And it may not, he may be getting some shots up. He's not making them, and if it's not Jay Huff, the centers aren't taking them. They don't.
Yeah.
So it may be counterintuitive, but you have your 3 best offensive players, and maybe you need Jay Huff with that lineup. Maybe you need somebody who can just take shots with no conscience, no thoughts.
He chucks them. Well, So I'll even say this now that we're 18 games in. Like, I don't know where you feel. Bradley has been their most consistent center, but not their high ceiling. No chance. Isaiah Jackson has usually the highest ceiling, unless Jay Huff is playing the Hornets. Then Jay Huff has the highest ceiling. So, like, I've understood at most opportunities why the Pacers have picked the center that they've picked. Like, I'm not confused by that. But I'll say this: all summer was that huge talking point, right? Who's going to start at the 5? Who should start at the 5? And Jay Huff got brought up in that a lot. And I thought it should be Isaiah, but I will say this. The most compelling argument for Huff was that his shooting helps the other best players have room to operate. And if that's what it takes to help them right now, either have their lives a little easier or just like he was the guy. Well, what this comes down to is like Jay Huff was a 4th player doing stuff against Charlotte. They need a 4th player to do stuff. I'm not saying it has to be him, but if him being out there helps make it more likely that someone else can be that 4th player, maybe that is something they should pursue. And Isaiah wasn't good against Cleveland. I don't even think he's been so bad recently. He deserves a demotion. He was great against the Pistons last weekend, right? Like, this is kind of just the nature of the beast with their centers. But, that was always the most compelling argument to me. Maybe it's that kind of stuff. Like I think it was Huff, McConnell, and the 3 guys we're talking about was, I thought, the best 5 they played in Cleveland. That group was good in the second half and pushed a little bit. Like, maybe it's that kind of, to use your term, internal change that would help them a little bit. But lineup changes have just happened so much for this team.
Yep, and maybe it's not a starting lineup change, but a rotation adjustment.
Yes.
Maybe there's a quick hook, for 5 minutes in instead of the 8-minute mark, and McConnell comes in or Huff comes in, or I'm starting to forget who's on this team sometimes and who's able to play and healthy. I was going to say
you?
Shooter, but they really just don't. Maybe Johnny Furphy.
The team you studied and planned for all summer is not the one that you're talking about already, and it's today. You and I talking, Will. Doesn't it? This is going to sound crazy because it's felt like their season's been 10 years. It's been 1 month on the dot. Isn't that crazy?
In 1 month, 21 players have played for the Pacers.
That's great. Is that more than last year? Can you go back?
20 of them averaged 10 minutes.
That's crazy.
The only one who didn't average 10 minutes is Talon Peter, who is actually a member of the Pacers.
That is wild. With all three of Siakam, Mathurin, Nembhard on the floor. Actually, when Nembhard came back, they were off on that road trip. Oh, they're still -8 total in 66 minutes. And if you count that they were awful when Nembhard came back at first, they've largely been pretty good with all three of them on the floor. How they balance out the rest of the rotation is thought TBD. Everybody, quick break to talk about two great groups of people. First up is Gusto. Let's be real. No one starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings or managing payroll. That's where Gusto comes in to take the stress out of payroll, benefits, and HR so you can focus on running your business and supporting your team. Gusto is the all-in-one remote-friendly payroll and HR platform that makes managing your team simple, transparent, and fast when you're hiring, onboarding, or paying your employees. Gusto helps you do it all from one place without the hassle or the hidden fees. Unlimited payroll runs for one monthly price, which means no surprise charges at the end of the month. Their automated tools like offer letters, onboarding materials, direct deposits save you hours every week. And knowing you can reach certified HR experts anytime gives you real peace of mind. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA to get 3 months for free when you run your first payroll. That's right, 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. One more time, that is gusto.com/LockedOnNBA. Let's also talk about the great folks over at Wayfair who have you covered for the holidays right around the corner. It's time to get your house or home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new linens, or a fun serveware for the holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to help you make your space shine. And the best part, you don't have to wait. Their Black Friday deals are happening all month long, up to 70% off some items, from sofas to spatulas and even more. You can upgrade anything. I just went crazy on deck furniture. Wayfair will help transform any space or any room. Everything will ship super fast, just in time for the holidays. Browse through their site. It's easy to find pieces that actually fit your style. Nothing generic. If you host family for the holidays, you know how much a difference a few touches can make, and Wayfair makes it all very easy. Do not miss out on early Black Friday deals. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale for up to 70% off. That's WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends December 7th. So I mentioned McConnell post-game in Cleveland. Another quote that made me go, oh, like eyebrow raised in the locker room was, we were talking to Andrew Nembhard and about the offense sometimes just kind of fading away and bogging down. They got completely smoked in the third quarter. That was the whole game. And he said, like, sometimes we don't run the play right or at the right speed. And it's like, because there's a lot of new guys and a lot of rotational differences every game. And that was, we've heard a lot about how injuries have impacted them and we can see it. But that was the first, like, oh, yeah. Like, what am I really talking about? We can talk about all these tweaks they can make to support these guys, but that problem is, like, unavoidable in some ways when they're playing so many guys who weren't on the team on opening night, were in the rotation. Can I give you a stat?
Absolutely. What you got?
Okay. 5 players for the Pacers this season have suited up who were not on the team at all during training camp. Those 5 being Monte Morris, Cody Martin, Garrison Matthews, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, and Mac McClung. There have been 304 minutes with at least one of them on the floor. Well, what do you think the Pacers plus minus is in those 300 minutes?
Are we talking total?
Raw plus minus. I'll give you their net rating after I say this and let you kind of react to it.
I'm going to go with 80, negative 80.
That'd be great if it was minus 80, Will. It is minus 107 in 304 minutes.
I wanted to say 100, but that felt cruel.
That is a point every that is a point every 3 minutes, meaning you'd lose every game by 16. I'm not even saying they've all been useless, but those are the guys who in theory would come in and have to learn a playbook or how the Pacers get like their offense is pretty. It's not like unique, but like they get from action to action differently than anyone for sure. They want to pass a lot. Like that's not natural to a lot. Yes, that's not natural to everybody, especially when you're doing it with new people. And so we just spent 10 minutes being like, how can they change their offense a bit to support these guys? And it's like, they can't. They have to play some of these guys to have a team on the floor. Like, are we overthinking this? Is this just stupid to even mention?
It's just going to get better if guys get healthy, or it's not if guys don't. It's really that simple. Like, we know Obi's not coming back until February, and we know Neesmith's out for a while. That's not happening. But as you know, Jeremiah Robinson Earl is not playing 20 minutes a night anymore. Is Cody Martin still on the team? I don't even know. When Cody Martin's not out there missing jumpers, I think the offense is going to get better, especially if they're determined to play Garrison Matthews. That's going to happen.
Dude, he's another one. Like, I keep saying, yes, Tyrese Haliburton's absence is a big part of them missing shots, but it's not everything. Garrison Matthews, I mean, he played one game. Like, I'm not going to even react to one game, but like, he's a good shooter. He goes 0-for-3 in his first game, man. It's you put on the Indiana Pacers jersey this year, your shooting percentage just takes an immediate hit, apparently, just like by default.
At what point is it appropriate that they just call it in to bring McBuckets back?
He's on a team. He's employed. The Sacramento Kings are offended by your idea that the Pacers sign an active player. Not only that, he is on the Kings. The Kings cut a different player, not named Doug McDermott, to sign Precious Achiuwa. So they actually like him enough, even though he doesn't play that much for them. To answer my own fake inquiry from earlier, that when I mentioned the raw plus minus, if the Pacers have anyone, just any of those 5 players who are not on the team opening night on the floor for any moment this season, greater than 0, so that's 1 or more, their offensive rating is 107.4. That's bad. Their defensive rating is 122.8. That's really bad for a net rating of minus 15. And I don't even like Robert Turner's been solid, like totally fine, right? And that's with him on the, like, it's just, it's brutal. And so Kyle Taylor got me really thinking about this, so I have to give him the credit. But on one hand, it's obvious to be like, they could tweak this. They should do this better. They should try this lineup. And then it's like, they have to play guys who weren't on the Pacers a week ago or whatever. Like, what do we do? It's just such a hard balance to perfectly talk about, when the answer might just be like, yeah, give it time. They'll be better. And I think that is true anyway, but it's really true given their current situation.
They're just stuck playing guys who are kindly referred to as fringe NBA players. And
no, not kindly. They are. They weren't on a team on opening night by default.
If you're playing the 468th best NBA player 20 minutes and he has one practice with your team,
yeah,
you're not in good shape. That negative 15, that feels about right.
For reference, that offensive rating would be 28th, and that defensive rating would be 29th. Shout out to the Wizards, who are behind that number on both ends of the floor somehow. Oh, the poor Wizards.
Generation.
He's been good. He's actually been good. I just was reading that I think the Wizards are about to have like their third 15-game losing streak in like a calendar year. That's unbelievable. That's unreal.
So we're going to be talking about the Las Vegas Wizards, is what you're telling me.
No, they'll never move. They have a little empire because of the Mystics as well. But yes, it is not looking good. I want to find the headline now. Is in the good old Bolts Forever blog. They did a bunch of Mystic stories today because of the draft lottery. But anyway, the Wizards are not playing well. That's the Pacers' opponent Friday. So if the Pacers lose a home game to the Wizards and the Nets, not a fun time for them. Okay, well, let's pivot to topic number 2/3 for us today. I did this with Jeremiah Johnson after a couple of games of Andrew Nembhard playing basketball games for the Pacers, just to take stock of what he'd been doing. Does it mean anything for the futures? For him specifically, there is like a zoom out. How does you look at point guard? What does that mean long term? That's less true for the guy we're about to talk about, but TJ McConnell has now been back for, I can't believe I don't have the tab up, 6 games so far for the Pacers. And he's lighting up the nets from 3. Please ignore the 2-point percentage. That is my transition to say, Will, what have you thought of TJ McConnell's play since return? How do you think this will go as he continues to recover? Because, look, I'll tell you this. He's never said this. The Pacers have never said this. If you are his age, which is 33, turning 34 this season, you can play in the game. That's great that he's recovered. There is 0 chance that he's not feeling the hamstring at all. There's just no chance, right? So
yeah,
he's good for him for playing through it. You got to get your win back to play for these Pacers. Like, you get all those caveats, but you also are graded on how you play. How have you felt that TJ McConnell has played this year? One more break here, everybody. Let's very quickly talk about FanDuel. The NBA is here. It's rolling. They're like a month in already. Can you believe it? And there's no better place to get in on the NBA action than with FanDuel. They're the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of a game that you want to watch or you just want to ride the hot hand of somebody you've been tracking recently, FanDuel has live bets on everything. Who's going to score next? Who's going to mount a fourth quarter comeback? And obviously all the things that you love, the parlays, it's all there. Plus, you can combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now on FanDuel, new customers will be given $300 in bonus bets when their first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com and sign up and be involved in that. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Better than I expected coming back from injury.
All right.
I thought he'd be worse than this coming back. The 2-point shooting is what I expected overall. The 3-point, obviously 3-point shooting is an anomaly. He's taken 1 point.
4 in a row, Will.
He took one off a screen. He took one off the dribble, coming off a screen.
He made it.
And that's different. Like,
it is.
That's a different thing. And yeah, he's still shooting less than 2 a game, and it's whatever. He's not going to shoot 50% on the year for certain. That's different. I'm trying to give credit there, and TJ and Jenny and whoever. That was a different kind of confidence.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. He buried 2 corner threes in the Hornets, or no, a corner 3 and another 3 in the Hornets game, and then he literally walked over to the crowd. I've already said this on this podcast, but I'll say it again. He walked over to the crowd, the opposite corner of the bench of the Pacers, reaches up to the sky and goes, finally, like so loud. And that's my way of saying he came back in Utah. I almost said Denver. That was McConnell. He came back in Utah, and he was just gunning. 12 shots in 11 and a half minutes. He made half of them 12 points. That was pretty good. And then his next 3 games were just like, oh, man, like this is not good. I understand the rigors of the NBA. 2 for 8 in Phoenix, including 1 for 6 on 2s. 4 for 11 against the Raptors, missing both of his 3s. 0 for 4, makeless. That's not even a word, against the Pistons. And in 3 of those 4 games, 2 or fewer assists, which on one hand, you'd like that number to be higher. On the other hand, to get an assist, your teammate has to make a shot. On the Pacers, that is a very tall task for the season. Yeah. I'm not really like blaming him for that number. So I like the scoring starting that way made me feel like his impact was higher than it was at first. But these last 2 games have been pretty good. 8 dimes against the Hornets. And look at that. They made shots and the assist number goes up. I don't think his assist number is down because he's not passing enough or not playing the same way. I do think he's doing that. I think he's getting in the paint enough. I just think right this second, 2 things are happening. One is what I already said, my belief that he is still trying to work through the recovery of a hamstring. And you feel that every game. And so like he's got to pick and choose a little bit, like where to give all his bursts and all that kind of stuff. Like he hasn't got a McConnell steal. He hasn't been able to do that kind of stuff to be able to probe on offense and all that. The other thing that I am intrigued by is these last 2 games have been encouraging. Can he keep making 2s? What makes TJ McConnell so special in general, not even just for the Pacers, is that he flips in these 8-foot jumpers that no one else even takes, and he makes them 55% of the time, which makes it a really quality shot. And he hasn't really made them at all until these last 2 games. Right now, my basketball reference. What is going on with my tabs, Will? This is just a disaster. His 2-point percentage right now is 45.9%. He has only shot below 50 twice, and they were both above 49 in his first 2 seasons. So I believe it will go up. But I've said that about a million Pacers players this year. Regardless, I believe that will go up. But that is where I will I think progress for him needs to come is these last 2 games need to be real, in that he's going to make his inside the arc shots that make him special and make defenses freak out in the paint, because that's what opens up his passing too.
I don't expect the little turnaround fadeaways and the full on TJ McConnell experience until Christmas. I don't expect him to have his legs
Not
under
at
him.
volume,
He's not creating advantages right now. He's
right.
a quarter of a step slow, but when you're 33 and not fast to begin with, quarter of a step slow is important. And he can't get guys on his hip. So everything he takes is incredibly contested instead of having that craft and that guile to wiggle and get guys around. And it's been really noticeable. I don't think it's permanent. It's going to happen. That's what happens to players his ilk. It's going to happen. I don't think it's permanent yet, but I kind of have a real dichotomy with it, because I think it will probably happen next year when the team is going to be good and want to have him as a good player.
Yes, I agree with that. You're absolutely right, too. The stats back up what you're saying. His percent of his shots from 3 to 10 feet in his career. His first year with the Pacers was 24%, well over 30 every season since, except this year. Right now it's 27. And then the percentage of his shots from 10 to 16 feet is currently at his lowest in 4 seasons. So, I mean, obviously he's made threes, and that's influenced it a little bit, but he's just not quite able to take the shots that we've seen him take a lot. He gets up a couple every game, and that's great. He'll take more and more, but that is the shot. Like, here's what I think his advantage is right now is he still gets, like you said, like his defender's next to him, and he gets close enough to the basket that a defender turns their head or their body to prepare to stop him. And that little turn just opens up an angle for a cut or like a half step for a shooter, but it has not opened up everything for McConnell in the way that it does yet. And I know why. I think I know why, because of injury, or because of his past injury that he was playing through. But it is certainly different. And this has been talked about with Pascal a lot. Like, yes, it's very good that they play well this season, but next season is what it's really about for guys at that age. They got to figure out the right amount of TJ this year too, which is funny because we just said, a solution to their big 3 problem could be, put McConnell with them. He can initiate a little bit, but like the right amount, right? They're kind of juggling so many things at the same time to figure out, and TJ is now one of them. But I think he'll get better, so he just keeps playing.
I think TJ needs to never, at any point, share the floor with Tony Bradley.
Too much clogged paint for you?
He just can't. There's no room. There's no room for TJ if Tony Bradley is standing in the dunker spot at best.
Yeah, Bradley's their best screener, but he's just not very quick. So you can't, it's hard to rhythm that play. And McConnell's centers for the last couple of years, as he's been really great, have been either all shooters or all freak athletes like Isaiah Jackson. So yes, that does make logical sense to me. And I don't think you're off base completely in that, after starting for a while, Tony Bradley's minutes have kind of dropped recently. I don't even think it's anything he's doing wrong. I just think that there's more potential for lineups with Jackson or Huff at the 5.
I am sure that Tony Bradley is a lovely human. I have no need for him to be in a Pacers uniform.
Wow.
0.
He is a decent player. That seems a little harsh.
He is, I don't know, the 50th best center in the NBA, which is fine, but he's, like you talked about with ceiling, there's not a lot there.
That is true.
And for this team, what is the point in starting Tony Bradley on this team? On a team that, unless he's your tank commander, and that's the point.
There are matchups where he's legitimately their best center, right? Like Gobert, you definitely want to have Tony Bradley out there for rebounding and support. Like, it helps the other players to have the right matchup on the floor.
I don't disagree that there are some matchups that he's going to be better than Huff or Jackson. I just think that when games, you want Huff or Jackson to be the guy next year when Ty is back and the team's trying to be good. You either want the athletic finisher or you want the shooter. You don't want the 0 on offense. And Bradley's fine. He's a fine center. He just doesn't do anything for this team. I think he clogs a lot of things up and he blocks a lot of stuff.
Just like how we were talking about McConnell after 2 games where he made shots, we were talking about Tony Bradley at the worst time possible, as he has played 8 minutes total last 2 games and is 2 for his last 9 from the field. So that's, I mean, his shot distance is not long enough for that to be true. He's got to make some shots.
When we talked about him in the offseason, I did not think he'd be on the team. His contract
to be clear, I didn't either. I didn't either. He was better than Wiseman, certainly, I think, and deserved to be on the team because the point guards were so bad in camp. And then they were like, "Hey, you're actually starting. we can't cut you. You're actually starting." So, one more guy. One more guy that's been the subject of rightly a lot of discussion. Well, I spent all summer saying why I'm on Ben Sheppard Island and why I believe in the things Ben Sheppard provides the Pacers and why Rick Carlisle keeps turning to Ben Sheppard. And I keep making the joke that we are in need of supplies very badly on the island. We have been setting up some sticks to make a help sign up for helicopters. It's not a good time on Ben Sheppard Island. It's not a good time. But that's not because he has been as useless as people are saying to me. I might be wrong. I might just be defending my stance because I'm on the island. He is still probably their second or third best healthy right this second, to be clear. Guard defender. They started him in part, I think, mostly because he could guard LaMelo Ball, and then they could give him some reps on Mitchell at least 2 nights ago. He never turns it over. His turnover rate is still super low. His assist percentage is a career high. His drives are way up. His rebound rate is a career high. I'm not saying they're super high numbers. He's doing a lot of somewhat useful stuff. Here's the problem. The problem is very obvious. How much useful stuff does he have to do to offset this shooting percentage, which is currently 20.6% from 3? Just ghastly. Just horrible. 14 for 68 on threes, 32% on all shots. His 2-point percentage, well, it seems good. In my head, I'm like, oh, he's gotten some nice bursts. He's gotten to the rim several times. His 2-point percentage is a career low by 9%. He's not even making those very well. His true shooting percentage is 41.3. At some point, I'm like, okay, that is too much. That is offsetting the good things you are doing, and probably more than offsetting them. Where have you felt about Ben Sheppard? Am I talking myself into this? Is it just the shots is this bad?
I need to be completely clear. There has not been a point in time that I have been on Ben Sheppard Island.
We don't want you anyway, Will.
I think he's an awesome 12th man. I love having him on the team. He does a lot of awesome things. Like you said, you just can't rely on him for big minutes. He reminds me, and this is not to denigrate Ben Sheppard's play because he's better than this player that I'm going to compare him to. But in my mind, he reminds me of an old Pacer named Jamison Brewer. I don't know if you even remember him. I
do remember him, but not for any reason specifically. I just remember his name.
He was a super quick point guard who was an amazing defender and a 12% 3-point shooter.
Okay.
And that's just, Yikes. He brought so many awesome, fun things to the game and never figured out how to play offense in an effective way.
Seems important.
And I just kind of feel that way with Sheppard. I would, when he's healthy, 100 times out of 100, please just play Quentin Jackson.
Q is definitely more dynamic. Ben Sheppard's a better defender, but it's not even it's two completely different things. Quentin Jackson is very dynamic and causes defenses to react and panic and rotate, and Ben Sheppard does not do those things. He just doesn't. Okay, I have a funny Ben Sheppard stat, and then some just let's talk about Ben Sheppard stats. Okay, what do you think Ben Sheppard's catch and shoot percentage is this season? Not threes, any catch and shoot shot for Ben Sheppard. What do you think?
31%.
Oh, that would be great, Will. That would be awesome. 20.6.
This team is killing
1/5 of his catch and shoot shots, and we know his NBA percentages hasn't been awesome. His playoff percentages are good. His regular season 3-point percentage, 31 to 34. He was an awesome shooter in college. The theory of this, it should be at least decent, and it just hasn't been this year. He is shooting 8% better on pull-ups than catch and shoots this season. So that is funny, and that's still not good. 28% on pull-ups is not good. You want the funniest Ben Sheppard stat? I will take a screenshot of this if anybody would like proof. So the NBA does that closest defender thing, right? Your percentage based on that. Ben Sheppard's effective field goal percentage, depending on how tightly he's guarded, is actually in the inverse order based on how close the defender is. What I mean by that is when his defender is 0 to 2 feet away, so very contested shot, his effective field goal percentage is 66.7%. On 2 to 4 foot close defender, so like a tightly guarded shot, 43.6%. 4 to 6 foot away defender, so a kind of open shot, 42.6%, getting worse. Wide open, 6 foot away defender, 29.8%. So the solution to solving Ben Sheppard's shooting crisis, Will Furr, is just make J Hub guard Ben Sheppard on his own shots, and he will make them. That's clearly the answer. That's
James
insane.
Harden.
Those stats are insane. How is that even possible?
Do you know what that tells me? That's truly horrifying, Tony.
Uh-oh.
That tells me that Sheppard is making the grenades.
Yes, that's another good idea.
He's making the end of shot clock well-defended grenades.
Crunch time offense, Ben Sheppard dribble for 20 seconds and then hoist it up, baby. Just chuck it in the basket. That's like, again, I understand that I might be overrating him, and I'm actually, it's almost a near certainty I've overrated him as a shooter throughout his career, but like, how does that stat not just make you be like, okay, this is obviously fluky? Like, it to some extent, that's crazy. That doesn't make sense.
I will say, Aaron Nesmith shot 27% from 3 his sophomore season.
Yep.
Like, that was his thing, as he was
and guess what? He shot 50% from 3 in college. Like, there are always signs of these guys who become good shooters. And I think Ben Sheppard will be, but he is not making me look good for saying so right now at all.
I'm out on Ben Sheppard Island, but I want to recognize that the Pacers already have one great shooter in college, struggled in the NBA, suddenly figured it out. Shooting success story. I'm not ruling that out.
Now, I will say this too, Will. One more player that I believed would emerge as a very good shooter for the Pacers after being a pretty good shooter in college was Chris Duarte, who is no longer in the NBA. So my track record of predicting good shooters is currently mediocre. But
Chris Duarte might be the player that I've been roasted the most about in the group chat.
That dude do you remember his, okay, we're off the rails. This is great. I like when you go off the rails. Do you remember how many like ridiculously tough, awesome shots he made as a rookie? Yeah. Yes, like a lot. And it was like, oh, cool. Like if he's working on this. Yeah, if he gets open shots, Haliburton's his teammate now. They made the trade midway through his rookie season. Like, this dude's going to be an awesome shooter, right? Surely. No. No, he was not.
Why did
you get roasted for him? I don't remember this.
Because I was certain he was good.
Oh, he was. He made all rookie.
I was on Duarte Island, and I didn't leave. When his second year he couldn't shoot, I was still there. When he went to the Kings, I was like, nah, he's going to be back. He'll be good with the Kings. He'll get consistent. But no. I just refused to abandon ship. I thought he was going to be a decent player.
He could kind of guard too. Like, do you remember it was a big deal? Kevin Durant was like, "Oh, that dude's pretty good." Like, I like that Duarte kid. Like, there was a time when it wasn't crazy. The crazy part was drafting a 24-year-old in the lottery, but like at least the 24-year-old for a second looked like he was kind of good.
Oh,
I don't know how that.
Very Ben Sheppard drafted the 24-year-old.
And he was not a lottery pick. 26 picks more reasonable to draft a guy who you think can maybe play. Can I make a draft point now? Can I make one more thing?
Yeah, hit me with it, Tony.
You have the 26th pick in the draft. This is a hypothetical, but clearly Ben Sheppard thing. If that player turns out to be in your rotation for 2 straight playoffs in which you make the conference finals or better, that is already a win for that pick. Like, if Ben Sheppard stops playing NBA games tomorrow, they already hit the pick, which sounds crazy because he's playing bad this year, like very bad this year.
I am all on board with that pick being successful. It's just too much Ben Sheppard, too many Ben Sheppard minutes for me.
Him playing point guard did not go very well. That is something they learned. I want to do that podcast at some point soon. What if the Pacers learned a month into their season? One of the headlining things will be Ben Sheppard cannot play point guard.
We could have an entire segment about players that can't play point guard. We could throw, there was Taylor Peter point guard experience. There was at least 2 games of Siakam being the primary initiator. Siakam
was their point guard in Minnesota. Yep.
Yeah, Obi brought the ball up way too much early on.
That did happen. Mac McClung was their point guard for a hot second off the bench in against Atlanta and Dallas, I believe. Jarris tried some point guardy stuff. Yeah, a lot of guys have played point guard. Not many
I
of
was
them have done it
totally
very
out
well.
on Ray J, and he impressed me a little. And he looked
Ray
okay.
J is Ben Shepard-y in that he's done a lot of stuff well, and he's just missed so many shots that it almost doesn't matter how many things you do if you can't make anything.
I don't know that either of them can ever finish.
But one of them is much taller and can guard more players, which I'm sorry, Ray J. Dennis, you need to grow. You might play more. He did a good ending, Will. You didn't even mean to do this. The Noblesville Boom today won their first game ever. And good news for the Pacers, they had 2 days off. And the same time, the Boom had 2 home games. So Dennis and Peter got 2 games of reps in with the Boom. Dennis was quite good. He's a dominant G League player because he's such a good organizer and can get places with the ball. So he's currently kind of stuck in that in between of too good for the G, not quite NBA level yet, but he can play. He can do a lot of stuff. Making shots right now, not one of them.
Did you see Ty's celebration?
Oh,
the 6-7 celebration.
The number thing. Yeah. I actually did see that.
The number thing. Yeah, you're so old.
I know it's 6-7, but I blanked for 1 second on what the 2 numbers were. And I was like, I can't get it wrong. So I just said the number. They put the Boom put out a video. It's funny because Ty did it. And then they cut to all these kids going crazy. And it was perfect. Yep. Wasn't it tied at 67?
Yep.
As good as it gets. I have more takes on that, but no one cares. It's a Pacers podcast. I don't get that meme, but it's so harmless that I don't get why people hate it so much. Who cares? It's just kids yelling and shaking their hands.
Everybody wants to yuck somebody's yum, man.
It's not. It's like our funny number growing up was actually something that kids should know about. There's an age when you should know. 67 is fine. 6-7 is fine. Good job, kids. Okay, well, we're talking about Chris Duarte and 6-7. It is time to wrap up today.
My last thing here.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Putting my foot down on this.
Okay.
Jarris is going to get way better this season. This is not.
What makes you say that?
I think he just needs to figure it out. And if I'm honest, I don't think Rick is really helping him in a lot of ways. His role changes a lot, and I think his leash is really short in a lot of ways. It has been better recently, but I'm so on just give this man 30 games in the same role. Injuries
that would help him a lot.
Can't do. There's only so much you can do, but give him 30 games where you say, Jarris, you're playing 25 minutes. Whether you shoot 0 of 6 with 6 turnovers or whether you score 30. You're playing 25 minutes for the next 2 months.
I just talked to him. I'll have Dustin and I both did. I'll have a story coming out about him very soon. So good timing for this. I will say this. So I'm going to take you back to Goga to talk about Jarris. So Goga on the Pacers, I don't know how you felt, but I always felt like Goga fouled a lot and messed up a decent amount, but he always was trying to do the right thing, but he was a half step too far out of the play or recognized he was supposed to do a beat too slow. And that's why he messed up. But you could tell he processed and read the game correctly.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out.
That's why he got drafted where he did. You could see all the processing. He was smart on defense.
But so that was a problem, is that he never got the speed right down. But he also got drafted to a team with a bunch of other centers. So that was a mistake. But there was always the signs that he were good. And so he got to the Magic. And he figured it out. And now he's a legitimately good backup center, making $8 million a year in the NBA. And so Jarris has a lot of plays that he messes up on where I'm he read it right. He knew what to do and he just did it at the wrong time or poorly. And I'm that is, to me, the path you want a guy playing poorly to be on. Because then you believe that what you're saying with time or with a similar role every game or whatever kind of form of consistency a guy can get, it will click and the game will process just at a speed that he understands. So I've always been high on Jarris, and the start of the season has not been good, but I tend to agree with you. It's just going to be hard to give him the same role every game. They're so hurt.
There's so much. You see Ben Shepard do stuff and you're this is competent. This man is a competent defender. And then you'll see Jarris do something. You're oh, oh, there's something special in there. There's something different.
Okay, but also Ben Sheppard does not have a play on defense like Jarris does, where I'm like, what are you even doing? Like, Jarris has some of those.
Jarris has had some Gerald Green moments.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can describe it is Gerald Green.
He's got the body to be like, that's the only difference between Jarris and Goga. I guess Goga had he had some all over the place sheets to him, but there was some Jarris plays where I was like, what was that? Whatever. Thank you, Will. I like when you come with topics. That makes my life way easier. Tomorrow we'll be talking Pacers Pistons. Will the Pacers do better than they did in Detroit? They actually were okay in that game, and signs of life were coming, and lo and behold, they won their next game. So we'll see. Then the Cup cometh. 2 NBA Cup games this week. They're already eliminated, but we'll talk about them anyway right here on Locked On Pacers. Will, thank you very much. You very rarely tweet anymore, so I don't even know if you want to share that. What was your last tweet? You retweeted an Edmund Sumner post or something? Where can people find you in your ability to share Edmund Sumner posts?
I completely forgot about that.
We love that here, though.
Will Furr NBA. I would be on board with the Pacers giving him a 10-day right now. Bring Ed back, man.
Edmund Sumner, who it's not this simple, but basically was like doing nothing during COVID and was like, yeah, I'll go on a podcast. So friend of the podcast, Edmund Sumner, who made a Locked On Pacers appearance. Good dude, good player. That was the first Achilles tear I ever covered. Ironically, given what the last 12 months have been.
Your life's been.
For the Pacers. So yes, expect lots of game coverage this week. Probably, maybe we'll see no more guests this week because it is a holiday week and I don't want to be like, hey, person, stop having fun with your family and talk to me about a team with 2 wins right now. So we'll see. We'll see what this week entails. But Will's the best for making time for me today. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You can find me on social media at Tony R. East and this podcast at Locked On Pacers. Back tomorrow talking more about this team. See you very soon.